Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And right after I recorded that other Colbert video, we got this broke loose. The Writers Guild is calling for an investigation after late show cancellation, citing bribery concerns. The Writers Guild, of course, I'm sure many of them working at the Colbert Show, at the Late Show, they have concerns that there's bribery. They have concerns that
bribery about what?
People are kowtowing to Trump
because shows get canceled all the time because they can't support themselves.
I mean, I can't imagine why this show got canceled.
I have no idea.
We're going to talk about the actual reason being given for its cancellation, which is financial. And we talked about that in the other video, but it needs to be restated. They have 200 people working on this show. 200 people.
A lot of people for one show, yeah.
To make an hour of cringy television. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they're definitely getting screwed on that deal.
So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the screwing. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to news.clownsfishtv.com because I told you to, right? Go out and please support us if you can. $5 a month to get access to exclusive podcasts. I got more coming. We're actually working out a schedule right now. We're going to have a lot of content over there, hopefully in the very near future. Start trickling that out. So yeah, this is a new wrinkle. So for those of you who don't know, they canceled Colbert. He found out Wednesday. He told the audience on Thursday he's only got 10 months. They're not going to replace him, so there's not going to be another late show host. And they're actually talking that they might sell the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Okay, so it just sounds to me like demographics are changing and people's tastes in shows are changing. But they're like, the East and West Coast branches of the union convey concern that the move may be sacrificing free speech to curry favor with the Trump administration. It's not. How is this sacrificing free speech? The network decides they're going to cancel this show because it's not performing or whatever.
Yeah.
And that no one's saying that they can't talk. No one's saying that's not canceling free speech. It's just canceling a show. It's so different than if any other network canceled other shows they may not agree with and they'd be like cheering for it. So anytime something's canceled, that's silencing free speech.
Yeah. I mean, come on. So again, you have to remember CBS owns this show. CBS got in a lawsuit with Trump. They settled. They're just trying to get this. They're trying to get this merger through the Skydance thing. But part of the merger is they're going to take a good hard look at everything that they have and be like, does it make sense to spend money on this anymore? And my understanding is this show is ridiculously expensive to produce. The advertisers, 200 people. The advertisers aren't jumping into the boat anymore. The demographic they want, the college age kids, they're watching YouTube. They're listening to podcasts.
Not watching him. I mean,
nobody's watching him.
I mean, I never thought, the kids today are watching him. No, they weren't.
He's like a 60-plus year old dude who dances around to.
They kept trying to
hypodermic
push him
needles
on YouTube. They kept trying to push him on social media.
Yeah.
I think they're spending money trying to push him.
Yes,
and it wasn't
100%.
taking with people. They don't watch it. They just don't care.
Organically. I don't think a lot of people watch it organically.
Exactly, organically.
His videos do get a lot of views on YouTube. I brought that up in the other video that all these late night talk shows seem like they're being pushed either by YouTube or because of advertising or something. They're doing something because
there's money exchanged for it.
Yeah, because if you go to a clean recommendations page on YouTube, they're going to push Jimmy Kimmel and they're going to push Colbert and they're going to, especially Jimmy Fallon. Like Jimmy Fallon is pushed hard. Jimmy Fallon, Saturday Night Live, anything NBC, they push it really hard on YouTube. There's got to be some kind of a deal.
There has to be. They wouldn't do it unless they were getting money for it, or there was some kind of deal being had. And anybody who wants to spend a lot of money to promote probably can get pushed too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you've got,
we're talking millions of dollars.
If you've got tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, you too can be number one on YouTube. But obviously it's not worth it. And if they've got 200 people and they're spending that kind of money to potentially, we don't know the deal for sure, but potentially spend that much money to get him.
I am saying, in my opinion, that's what I think is going on. That doesn't mean that's the case. That's what I think is going on.
When was the last time you heard some Gen Zer talking about like, wow, last night on Colbert?
Never.
Last night, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, nobody cares. Jimmy Fallon was hawking some freaking shitty gambling mobile app or something.
I find Jimmy Fallon grating. I'm sorry, as people like him, I find him grating. I find all these guys grating, to be completely honest with you. I don't watch any of them. I think they're all full of shit.
So this is, we're going to talk about the awful optics of them canceling it. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter.
Because of CBS and because of the Trump suit? Is that what they're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe, is it possible it's tied to that? Probably. But is it also possible that no one watches this show and they're artificially trying to inflate him and it's not working and they don't want to waste any more money because they're trying to sell and all that? Also, possibly yes.
So the union representing the writers on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, again, they're getting rid of 200 people, and I'm sure a good chunk of them are writers. Again, how many people does it take to put down an hour of television?
Cringe. How many people
cringe?
To write the
how many people came up with this piece of shit? Right? I mean, come on. They're calling for an investigation into Paramount following the cancellation of the show on Thursday, airing concerns that the move may be a form of bribery. The East and West Coast branches of the Writers Union asked that New York State Attorney General Letitia James open an inquiry into potential wrongdoing at the company in a strongly worded statement Friday.
She's already been trying to cause trouble for ever against Trump. She's been after Trump for a while, hasn't she?
I think so.
Here's my next thing. If these show hosts are so great and they're such great comedians and all that other stuff, why do they need writers to write their stuff anyway?
That is a damn good question.
And a lot of them are interviews. So why do you need writers anyway?
And that was brought up in the other video talking about YouTube.
I wasn't there, sorry.
Well, yeah, but it's just being like, hey, you've got YouTubers that it's either just themselves or a very, very small staff bringing in more eyeballs than this show with like 200 people working on it, unionized. So in New York, so they're very expensive.
Yeah, so that's why they're getting involved. They're only doing it because their people are going to lose jobs.
That's exactly.
So let's go get the one person who's really pissed at Trump all the time anyway, and Trump's up no pun intended, all kinds of stuff. Let's get them to go after him for this.
So they think this has something to do with the Trump CBS lawsuit. No,
it's possible, I guess, but it's also possible that he just isn't bringing it.
My feeling on this is when there's a changing of the guard, when there's a major shakeup in the ecosystem or whatever, that's when companies make decisions that they wanted to make all along but couldn't do it because they probably knew that there'd be all kinds of backlash. But now they can be like, oh, well, because the Skydance merger and because just tastes are changing, we're just not going to renew the contract, and that's it.
Well, I think that's a good excuse because I don't think people watch him in general unless it's like clips or something that are being promoted.
They said that he actually gets more mileage on YouTube with clips.
Well, I think so. Yeah, clips. Okay, again, clips on YouTube. That, like when you said you go to a page that has no algorithm programmed on it, automatically show you his stuff, which tells me if you're showing the mainstream stuff, it's because mainstream outlets are paying to make sure their stuff's on that page. So if he sees a lot of people see him, I'm sure a lot of it's being bought and paid for, in my opinion.
Here's their statement. This is the WGA statement. Again, they're pissed because their writers are losing jobs and those jobs are getting harder and harder to come by. Cancellations are part of the business, but a corporation terminating a show in bad faith due to explicit or implicit political pressure is dangerous and unacceptable in a democratic society. Okay.
Where's the proof of this?
Yeah, but beyond that, this is a private company, right? So they can cancel a show for any reason. It could be the highest rated show on TV, and they say, you know what, we don't want to pay for it anymore.
Political pressure from whom? But I mean, because like no one watches him.
Paramount's decision comes against a backdrop of relentless attacks on the free press by Donald Trump through lawsuits against CBS and ABC, threatened litigation of media organizations with critical coverage, and the unconscionable defunding of PBS and NPR. Again, only 1 to 10% of their funding.
But beyond that, though, so it's completely okay if they cancel a right-leaning talking head. That show. That's fine. And those writers get laid off.
There were people doing a jig when Alex Jones got canceled, when Rush Limbaugh died. They were happy Rush Limbaugh died. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't understand how this political pressure. It's just
they're mad because basically all the mouthpieces are being shut up. And it's not because I don't believe because they're being shut up by Trump necessarily. I think they're being shut up because nobody was watching this shit. It was
People
artificially
wanted to go back
inflated.
to center.
Right. And it's like, you know what? Because again, we did that other video. They're going to bring Barry Weiss in apparently at CBS News, and they call her center right, but she's more liberal, I think, but she's balanced. And they're like, yeah, let's not let this happen again with the 60 Minutes shit. But they said, yeah, as soon as the Late Show cancellation made headlines on Thursday, speculation erupted over whether the move could be some form of capitulation to the president. Colbert, a longtime Trump critic, rose in popularity during the president's first administration with a strong political focus and pointed nightly commentary about his actions and remarks.
Right, but they kept doing it. Like, even after he was out of office, they kept going on about Trump repeatedly. You know what I mean? And I would argue there's bias there. And look, I can understand why their first thought, their thought would be, I wouldn't say first thought, but one of their thoughts would be, could it be related? Because it's possible. I'm going to be honest. It's possible, but I just don't think people are watching him. I never hear anybody talk about him other than it being recommended to me on social media or something like that. That's the only time I ever see anything from him.
Well, here's where it gets interesting. So on July 15th, this is after CBS settled with Trump. Colbert went on air and called the settlement a big fat bribe in exchange for a favorable decision on the proposed merger between Paramount and Skydance, a charge currently under investigation in California. Less than 48 hours later, on July 17th, Paramount canceled the Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
They could be like, he's going to get us in trouble again. He's going to cause us more damages. It could be something as simple as that.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. You're going to run at the mouth, and we're going to get sued.
I'm not going to rule out that it's related to Trump, because I think if we're being honest and fair, it still could be possibly related to that. I also think no one's watching him unless they're being recommended. Well,
that's the thing. And I was bringing up with late TV anyway. Like, how many people are just falling asleep in front of their TV and just letting it run?
Mm-hmm. But most of the time I ever see anything from him, it's usually on social media because it's in my feed.
Right.
I don't watch him. There's no reason it should be in my feed, but it would pop up in my feed and I would scroll past it. Same with Saturday Night Live and a couple other things, because I don't usually watch those things. So they're being promoted to me, which means they're probably likely being paid to be promoted to me. And that's the only time I see it or care. And I don't hear anybody ever talking about him.
Except when they're talking about him in a negative.
Right. Or like, did you see what he said in either some political or something, but like just in general.
So, yeah, they said the show is currently performing first in its time slot, giving vague reference to the program's financial performance. We'll talk about that as the explanation. For 10 years, the show has been one of the most successful, beloved, and profitable programs on CBS, entertaining an audience of millions on late night television, on streaming services, and across social media. Given Paramount's recent capitulation to Trump and the CBS News lawsuit, the Writers Guild of America has significant concerns that the Late Show's cancellation is a bribe, sacrificing free speech to curry favor with the Trump administration as the company looks for merger approval. Cancellations are a part of the business, but a corporation terminating a show in bad faith due to explicit or implicit political pressure is dangerous and unacceptable.
It's still their choice. It doesn't matter whether
it doesn't matter. Yeah, you could be number one. I mean, you can have a movie make $2 billion at the box office, and you can say, you know what, we're not going to do a sequel because we don't like money for whatever reason.
Like I said, if it was a right-leaning show and they decided to cancel it, would you be saying it was in bad faith? It was pressure and unacceptable? And a Democratic side, you'd be cheering for it. They cancel shows all the time. And sometimes those shows have narratives and biases towards one party or the other, and they cancel them all the time. That's the baseline. There's so many people that could argue this about their show.
So they're saying the Late Show with Stephen Colbert is the most watched late night program on U.S. broadcast television, which I believe. I do believe that. I think it is of the late night shows which do not perform that well overall.
I was going to say, that's like saying you're the fastest runner at the turtle competition. I mean, that doesn't really mean anything.
They said the show's going to be retired. Colbert's not going to be replaced. New episodes are going to air until the end of May 2026. They're just not renewing the contract. They said this is purely a financial decision against a challenging backdrop in late night. It's not related in any way to the show's performance, its content, or other matters happening at Paramount, CBS executives said. They honestly don't need to explain themselves. If you cancel a show, technically, again, as a corporation, you don't have to give an explanation. You just say we're not doing it anymore, because I think they're looking at the long term. They're like, we're not going to sign another multi-year agreement when we know late night is dying.
I don't think people watch it. I think they're watching their DVR shows. They're watching YouTube. They're watching streaming. They're not watching those shows. They're just not doing it. If they watch it, they're just watching clips of it later. They're just not watching it across the board. I think that these shows,
if it were a him problem, just a him problem, they would find another host. But they're talking, they're shutting the late show down completely, and they're talking that they might sell the theater, the Ed Sullivan Theater.
I think a lot of things could be true at once. I think him making the comments did not help. I think it could be related to them not wanting to get into another lawsuit, and because of the merger. I think it could be because it's not performing and people don't really give a shit about him, or they're tired of spending money to promote him across social media.
Yeah.
I think all those things could be true at the same time.
Yeah. And that's just it. I mean, look, the economic reality is that things are changing. Studios in general don't have the extra money to spend on stuff that is declining. We're going to see a lot of cutbacks across the board, whether it's television or movies or whatever. You're not going to see these ridiculous salaries. God only knows what this guy's making. I mean, freaking Rachel Maddow is making what, $25 million, $50 million a year. I mean, to be a talking head, that's crazy.
Talking animation. Why don't I get paid that much?
Because you're a cartoon and we hate cartoons. Didn't you go to Reddit? Clownfish hates animators and animation. And,
oh, that's right. That's right.
But yeah, they're all flipping out. I covered it in the other video, but they're all like, it looks bad. It looks like they're just kowtowing to Trump. I'm like, probably the contract. I mean, I'm sure he probably sped up the decision. Kind of like, oh, by the way, you're done.
There are a lot of these people, these talking heads that really honestly think that they're more important, have more power than they actually do. And they want to push back. Well, I got this platform, I'm going to push back. Well, the problem is, if it's your own platform that you built, that you didn't pay for, or that you paid for and everything, then yes, you can push back and then you're solely responsible. But if you're on somebody else's network or something else, there is a chain of command. There are checks and balances in place, and you can't just go say whatever you want to say. If you want to say whatever you want to say, just go start your own thing, which is probably what he'll do.
Oh, he's going to be fine. He'll go start a podcast. They'll put him on Netflix. He'll do something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be fine.
He's going to be fine. What they're concerned about.
You can watch him there.
Yeah, and you can watch him there. What the union is freaking out about is wherever he goes, he's not going to need however many writers he's got on staff.
He shouldn't have needed him in the first place. If he was good at his own comedy, why does he need them to begin with?
Right. So we're going to wrap it up?
Yes.
Okay, guys, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.